Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and joining me today, as always, is my amazing co-host, Julia. Hey, Julia!
Hey, Jason! Hey, everyone! I'm so excited for today's topic because I know a lot of English learners struggle with speaking fast and want to sound more natural in conversations.
Exactly! So, today's episode is all about how to talk fast in English. But not just fast, also clearly and naturally. A lot of learners feel frustrated when they can't keep up in conversations, right?
Yes, many people think that speaking fast means just rushing through words, but that's not true. There's actually a technique to it. And today, we're going to share some top tips to help you improve your speaking speed without losing clarity.
That's right. So, if you've ever felt like you're too slow when speaking, or that you hesitate too much, this episode is for you. Stick around because by the end, you'll have practical exercises to help you talk faster and sound more fluent.
Sounds great, Jason. And hey, if you're listening right now, grab a notebook or just practice along with us, because this episode is going to be super interactive.
Let's get started. First, let's talk about why speaking fast in English is important and how it can help you in real-life conversations. All right, before we jump into the actual tips, let's talk about why speaking fast in English is important. Julia, do you think every English learner should try to speak faster?
Well, Jason, I think it depends on the situation. Some people believe that speaking fast automatically means you're fluent, but that's not always true. However, being able to speak at a natural speed does help in real-life conversations. What do you think?
I completely agree. When you can speak English at a faster pace, it helps you sound more natural and keeps conversations flowing smoothly. Think about it. Native speakers don't talk super slow, right?
Exactly. And if you speak too slowly, it might feel unnatural or even make the conversation awkward. Plus, if you're talking to a native speaker, you might struggle to keep up because they're used to a certain rhythm.
That's true. Also, speaking faster can boost your confidence. When you don't hesitate too much, you start feeling more comfortable. And that helps you speak without overthinking every word.
Yes. And let's not forget one big advantage. When you practice speaking faster, you also train your brain to think in English instead of translating from your native language. That's a game changer.
Good point, Julia. But here's the thing. Speaking fast doesn't mean speaking unclearly. Some learners think they just need to rush through their words, but if no one understands you, then what's the point, right?
Absolutely. That's why today, we're not just going to help you talk faster, but also speak clearly and naturally. Because if people can't understand you, speed won't help at all.
Exactly. So now that we know why speaking fast is important, let's talk about some of the common problems English learners face when trying to speak faster. All right. Now that we understand why speaking fast is important, let's talk about some of the biggest problems that stop English learners from speaking quickly and naturally. Julia, what do you think is the most common issue?
Oh, there are quite a few, but I'd say one of the biggest problems is translating from your native language. Many learners try to think in their first language, translate it into English, and then speak. But that takes too much time.
That's so true. When you're constantly translating in your head, it slows you down and makes speaking feel stressful. English has its own structure, and sometimes direct translation just doesn't work.
Exactly. Another common issue is lack of vocabulary. If you don't know enough words, you'll struggle to express yourself quickly. You'll pause a lot trying to find the right word, and that slows everything down.
Good point. And even when people know words, they might not use them confidently. Some learners hesitate because they're afraid of making mistakes, so they speak too carefully, trying to be perfect.
Oh yes, that's a big one. The fear of making mistakes can kill your fluency. I always tell learners, it's okay to make mistakes. The more you speak, the more natural you become.
Absolutely. Another thing that holds people back is overthinking. Some learners try to plan every sentence in their head before they say it. But in real conversations, you don't have time for that.
Right. You have to train yourself to think fast and just let the words flow. If you try to make every sentence perfect, you'll always be a step behind in the conversation.
And here's another problem: not practicing enough speaking. Many learners focus a lot on grammar and writing, but don't actually practice speaking out loud.
That's true. You can't expect to speak fast if you're not used to speaking at all. If you only listen and read but never practice speaking, your mouth muscles don't get trained for fast speech.
Yes. And the last problem I want to mention is lack of confidence. Some learners doubt themselves too much and get nervous, which slows them down even more.
Confidence is key. The good news is, all these problems can be fixed with the right techniques, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about next, our top tips to help you speak faster in English.
Yes! We're about to share powerful techniques that will help you talk faster, sound natural, and feel more confident. So, let's get into it. All right. Now it's time for the most exciting part of our episode: our top tips to help you speak English faster. We've got some really effective strategies that will speed up your speech while keeping it clear and natural. Julia, what's the first tip?
Let's start with one of my favorites: think in English. We just talked about how translating in your head slows you down, right? So if you want to speak faster, you need to train your brain to think in English directly.
That's a great one. And a simple way to do this is by describing what you see around you in English. For example, if you're walking outside, try saying in your mind, "The sky is blue. The weather is nice. I see a red car." This helps your brain get used to forming sentences quickly.
Exactly.